I'm Bronwyn. I'm from Tadworld. I am actually the finance and admin manager, but I deal with all the HR administration, and I love dealing with people. So we've had massive growth and investment into our employees in the last 4 years. And we work really hard to make it a great place to work. And I just think coming to Fusion today and just getting rid of those misconceptions and misunderstanding that Gen Z generation is great. Just great to have an open mind and learn new things, and you just don't know through conversation what's going to be that aha moment, you know.
I'm Hayley from Jeff Acom and Sons. We're a micro business and we're a flooring contractor. We are kind of at the start of our journey with recruiting young people. We've taken on our first Gen Z in November last year in an apprenticeship. So far, so good. But it's going to be a rolling thing because we want to build our team, well, double it really, over the next sort of 4 or 5 years. So we'll be looking at bringing on a new apprentice every 12 months. So I have no contact with young people as I don't have kids, and I feel very removed from that. So I think when Andrea talked about Fusion, I thought it would be a really good fit for us as a business moving forward, so we can understand what young people's motivations are and really tailor our recruitment and induction process around that.
And did either of you have any sort of preconceptions about Gen Z before coming to work? How did you feel before coming today?
I don't know really. I suppose you kind of have that perception that construction is not something they particularly want to go into because they're very much more digitally minded than we perhaps were, and there is a huge skills gap within the construction industry, and there's obviously a reason for that. I think one is apprenticeships just aren't available or seen as a good option for young people, and they have been more pushed towards academic education. And I think for me, it'd be really interesting to understand how we can make it more of an attractive career and seen as an exciting and good option, rather than being something that you do because you can't fit into the academic role.
Back to you, Bronwyn.
I've got 3 children and they're all part of the Gen Z generation. So I have the challenges at home dealing with the way they think sometimes, and I just wanted to get a better understanding as well. I think being a steel fabrication business, we employ a lot of welders, and I think that's largely a dying trade because it's just seen, like you say, most of them want to be influencers and IT specialists, and everything's online and posting videos and working within a workshop environment in a boiler suit and isn't very cool. So it's just trying to be able to recruit that age group, and also perhaps even get some open-mindedness about my children and help them transition into this working environment.
Brilliant. And has anything that we've talked about today sort of stuck in your minds or stood out or been particularly interesting?
I think for me, it's magnified the fact that the construction industry is seen as a secondary thing, and it's in the education sort of from a young age. Then it's not something that's seen as that exciting option, and that's a real shame. And something needs to change from in schools, really, that those kids that don't do well in academia and would do really well in practical trades need that option to move into that much sooner, so that they can develop those skills, and when they get to 16, 17 and they're looking for a trade, it's just a step rather than a massive leap. And yeah, I think there's something that needs to be done there.
Bronwyn?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Is there anything that sort of particularly stood out or kind of caught your ears in what we've talked about today?
Well, firstly, I think I'm going to go away and start posting some reels on TikTok for kids and start getting, they spend so much time on there. So, you know, if that's the way they're going to get influence in the construction or welding industry, just put some snappy videos on there that makes it seem more exciting and get it out to them that way. But I think there needs to be more support. I think particularly even knowing from my kids, just a little bit more practical application in school, just life skills and understanding. And I know for my kids, their school has actually stopped the practical subjects that they used to have due to kids not selecting them anymore, carpentry or woodworking or whatever it is within the school environment, which is quite sad because I think that just shows that kids aren't choosing that line of work anymore because it's not seen where the money's made or it's not a cool kind of career choice. Yeah.
And really, in years to come, it's going to be where you're going to make your money.
Yeah.
AI is taking over the desk job.
Yeah.
The trades is where it is going to be at in the next 5 or 10 years. And if the kids are getting into it now, they're going to be making really good money in years to come.
Yeah, it does feel, as someone, I've had all kinds of people around our house recently doing kitchens and heating and boilers and it's good money.
Yeah.
Good teamwork. It does feel
Keeps them busy.
Kind of real misjudgment almost.
Yeah, misconceptions about
that. Hugely,
that kind of thing to do. But I think also there needs to be a better bridging between that sort of age group and the wage rates, because I think now, particularly with the change to apprenticeship rates, it's almost pushed employers away from taking apprenticeships because it costs. Before it was a cheaper rate, so therefore you could invest in the apprentices. But now, after their second year, and if they're over 19, they're on national living wage. It almost makes it unaffordable for employers to take on and then still have them out in college 1 day a week or whatever the agreed time out of work is.
Effectively, they're a cost to the business until they're, for us in foreign, it's a 2-year course, but really you're looking at 4 or 5 years before they're really making money for the business. Well, that's a 4 or 5 year investment that you've got to make in somebody. And if they don't stop or they decide that they don't want to continue with the apprenticeship, then that's a huge risk for us as a micro business. There's 6 of us in the team, including myself. So finding the right person is so key. So it does take a real leap of faith to think that we're going to employ so many more young people. So finding that right person, this things like this Fusion is so key to us to understand people's motivations to get the right person in our team.
If you met someone else in another colleague in another business, what would you say about Fusion and sort of what it's for and how it's helpful?
It's great to just get rid of misconceptions and just have conversations with other business owners or people that work in key roles within those businesses and just have that open-mindedness, I think talking and getting it out there just gets rid of those misconceptions.
Brilliant.
Yeah, definitely. Just understanding where the challenges that Gen Z have had as well that are different to what we face as young people, and the job opportunities that just aren't there. And particularly, for us, I was on site as a kid, carrying bags of screed or whatever at 12 years old. Well, there's no way we can have kids on site nowadays. Unless they're 18, they're not allowed anywhere near a building site. Well, that's taking an opportunity away from them. What's that really doing to people? I think there needs to be conversations further up in government and HSE.
And if you think about it, how much harder is it to get an apprenticeship nowadays? Because now your kids that would have gone to university that can't afford to go to university are now applying for those apprenticeships. So those kids that weren't academic or aren't able to express themselves or have those conversations and be that high intellect are missing out on those positions now. So they're really getting pushed down to the bottom if they have any neurodiversity or struggles.
There certainly needs to be more support for employers taking on apprentices because it is really tough. It's really expensive, and businesses just aren't doing it now.
Yeah.
So the skills gap is getting bigger and bigger and bigger as we go along, and it's going to become a crisis at some point if we don't change something soon.